Hey everyone, this is Android Cemetery, and in this video I'm going to be talking about whether you should be a specialist or a generalist, and some of the advantages and disadvantages of choosing one or the other. I'm also going to be talking about a third option that many people aren't aware about later in the video. So what's the difference? A generalist is someone who is knowledgeable on a variety of different topics, like for example, an independent games developer who can do programming, 3D modeling, and lighting, whereas a specialist is someone who concentrates most of their time working in a specific field, like for example, only doing concept art or only doing particle effects, and spends most of their day working in one specific field. Why should you be a specialist? You may be led to believe that it's easier to find a job as a generalist because you can apply to many different kinds of jobs and it will look good on your resume. But that's not actually the case. Most companies are looking for people who are really experienced in one specific field to solve a very specific problem, rather than hire a generalist who only has surface level knowledge. Another advantage to being a specialist is being able to excel at a certain skill. By nature, people are creative and diverse thinkers. We see someone creating an animation or doing programming, and we feel the need to do it ourselves. Unfortunately, this could work against us, especially when we want to develop our skills and become experts in our field. Take, for example, someone who is really skilled in hard surface modeling. You see some of that person's amazing hard surface artwork, and you might be led to believe that they have a high level of skill in everything 3D related. This is what's known as the halo bias. And this is something that will have a negative effect on a 3D generalist, because if people see that your hard surface modeling, sculpting, etc. is average in quality, then they will just assume that the rest of your work is probably average as well. Why should you be a generalist? An advantage of being a generalist over a specialist is being able to complete a single project by yourself. Like for example, creating a final render for a 3D model, you'll just need to have surface level knowledge on how to create a 3D model, doing UV mapping, applying the materials, and create a decent lighting setup. Or if you were to create a small indie game, you would need programming skills, general knowledge on how to create 3D and 2D game assets, and be able to implement sound effects in a game engine, among other things. Whereas if you're a specialist, you're most likely going to need outside help to finish a project. Another advantage is just understanding the overall context of the job. Say for example, you specialize in animation and you have to create some animations for a character in a video game. If you don't have the general understanding of how the previous person rigged the character skeleton or how the animations are going to be implemented into the game by the programmers, you may have a hard time understanding how your animations are going to fit into the project due to the lack of understanding in the overall pipeline. So there is technically a third choice you can make, and that is to be a combination of both a specialist and a generalist. So let's explore this idea. The concept of being a specialist and generalist is someone who combines a small amount of different skills together to create a unique idea. So say for example Jim Henson, who is a puppeteer. He combined both a hand puppet with a marionette style puppet to create the Muppets. Or let's take someone like Walt Disney, who combined gruesome fairy tales with beautiful hand-drawn animation to create his signature animated movies. There are many examples of people who have specialized in a handful of skills and combined them together to great success. And this is definitely something to keep in mind, especially if you are looking to start your own business. So at the end of the day, it's really up to you to consider the type of field that you want to work in. If you plan on looking for a job in a large company, then you would definitely want to consider specializing. If you are interested in working for a small indie business, then generalizing is probably the way to go. And if you're interested in becoming an entrepreneur and starting your own business, then you may want to consider being a combination of both generalist and specialist. So I hope you found the information in this video helpful, and I will see you in the next video.